Upon my arrival, my parents bubbled with anticipation. My father exclaimed, "How'd your investigations go?" That's subjective. Although I couldn't obtain necessary materials despite maximum effort, I became well acquainted with the cave dweller. Furrowing his brow, Dad said, "How well acquainted?" "We're dating." Yeah! His forehead having more grooves than a phonograph record, he braced himself in his chair. I normally succumb to honoring parental desires, but in this unique circumstance, this special person demanded wholehearted love, dedication, and announcement to the world. Upon my disclosing every detail, my father, shocked and enraged, slammed both hands down on the mechanical chair's buttons, rocketing across the floor and flying out the window. Circumspectly handling disapproval, I affirmed this intimate relationship's necessity. Even my familiar friend raised his heel against me. Bill's typical cavalier attitude generated into venomous condemnation. He spewed, "Get it out of your life." Abandoned by everyone, I fled my surrounding circumstances and sought refuge in the metropolis. Though relentlessly seeking someone to comprehend me and help my situation, both in person and via public internet access, everyone answered every question with a question and showered me with abundant quantities of circular reasoning, nihilistic elocution, and assorted verbicide. Finally, I found an independent law firm consisting of 3 partners who I joined for tea. One was mousy and hardly spoke. Another was harebrained. Ultimately, their maddening leader charged everything I had for the following garbled analysis. Since the imperceptive ignorance of imbecilic people is stupidity, I shall amalgamate the aforementioned conundrum in fervid, pre-programmed conceptualization, especially since 1-liter milk jugs cannot hold 2 liters. After offering a souvenir hat which advertised his business, he refused further commentary until I brought more money. Since I lacked liquefiable equity, I sought a part-time job. After encountering Rube Goldberg Enterprises, named after a cartoonist known for drawing ridiculously complicated mechanical contrivances, I entered their giant egg-shaped company, which sat on a high and narrow precipice. Immediately after signing an employment contract, their foreboding gates crashed down with a deafening clang, imprisoning me in this mega corporation. The work schedule was 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day. Workers who resisted that schedule, so supervisors occasionally reprimanded them with scorpions. Those no longer responding to prodding had their skulls crushed with a non-titanium mallet before being incinerated. Expecting an important position, I only received menial assignments. They involved running along the inside of grain elevators, scooping, clearing, and organizing loose tear weeds down their designated chutes while disposing of unwanted wheat. To prevent damaging our feet on the titanium walkways, we wore large springs around our legs, the bottoms of which bounced along the platforms. Other work was on one of many assembly lines which snaked along the company's first floor in patterns so unintelligible that mazes seemed simple in comparison. Surprisingly, I spotted Frank, a former classmate, on an assembly line. Frank, as a dutiful white rabbit, regularly checked his pocket watch to record his production rate. Now this distraction caused him to accidentally sever the core of a molecularly unstable plasmatic prototype. The aggressive protoplasm immediately ate into his hand, quickly consumed his entire body, which imploded into a spiral and then vanished. The rest of the floor consisted of railroad tracks, with trains whizzing past mere inches from us, making me extremely nervous. Sometimes train cars were stacked a monumental 4 high. Occasionally, a giant mechanical drop-forged hammer attached to the top car and spanning its entire length drummed with a deafening racket so intense that my head near exploded. During the weekly 5-minute break within the yards shrouded with razor wire fencing, train cars carried every kind of animal which were used in exploitative fashion. Amazingly, dragons with skin resembling cherimoya fruit alongside sleeping griffins rode the cars. Besides these horrible conditions, we got paid with dried worms instead of money. One evening, being ready to give up on life, my exhaustion produced a narco-hypnotic state. In an intense dream, I walked through an ornamental bathroom festooned with electroplated flames. There was a grand bathtub, beautiful wallpaper, and 7 hanging plants. Above the bathtub was a bas-relief figure of a golden pelican wearing a tuxedo. Clear streams of water flowed from each plant while oil flowed from the bathtub faucet. 7 eyeballs with ivy green irises and slowly nictitating lids alternately disappeared and reappeared. Below them a wide grinning mouth with giant sparkling teeth. The intensity of the stream fortified me with great confidence, preparing me for what came next. Next morning, the entire plant was enveloped in a screaming wind which was heard over the usual cacophony. A sinewy black funnel precipitously wound around the company's intricacies, entering and exiting the aluminum ducts, coiling itself around spools and winding its way around every Rube Goldbergian contraption like a master contortionist. While I stared intensely at this bizarre situation, the atmospheric pressure increased dramatically. The velvety tornado cracked the building, then shattered it beyond repair, while its inner workings spilled into the valley below. Shocked but recovering quickly, I escaped, scorpions crunching under my feet. Relieved but still disheartened, I continued to wallow in crushing sadness. Being destitute, afflicted, and tormented, I became discombobulated, falling down a giant rabbit hole. After hitting rock bottom, I broke down and cried. Having kept Chicxulub in my heart, I cried out with loud, vehement shrieks and moans, Chicxulub! Stay tuned for part 8.